So basically, there's been some massive titles that have been announced for 2022, and one of the ones that I'm extremely excited for is Homeworld 3. Now, this comes as the fourth in the series, and it's had quite the legacy. Technically, there are 5 Homeworlds floating in the ethos. There is the original Homeworld, then there's Homeworld Cataclysm, and then there was the remaster of the original, the remaster of the second, and then the prequel, Homeworld Deserts of Karak. Now, interestingly enough, Homeworld, much like Call of Duty, has had many developers over the years. So the original Homeworld 1 and 2 was developed by Relic, and then Cataclysm was made by Barking Dog Studios. Regardless, however, the original 1 and then Cataclysm were actually heralded as some of the best Homeworlds that have been released to this date. Now, while I enjoyed number 2, can't be helped noted that it did have a fair few bugs in it, and also there were features missing from the original, and also it didn't really tie in to Cataclysm, and there was a lot of speculation around that was due to licensing and bits and pieces. If you are completely new to the series, then Homeworld is a grandiose, almost a Total War kind of scale-sized 3D space strategy game. And it is heralded for having amazing atmospheres, big, bold soundtracks, and very unique and distinct alien civilizations that you meet on your way through your various missions that you play. Now, one of the things that really appeals to me about this game is the running campaign that it has, which means when you do one level, whatever units you have scrapped together from the previous, you carry over. So preserving your ships and resources becomes really important. There is a plethora of ships in this game. There is a tier system which works around kind of their chassis. So you have fighters, then you have corvettes, then you have frigates, and there's capital ships, and they just get bigger and bigger, destroyers for example, all the way up to your mothership. And there's various formations that you can put your ships into, and it's just a lot of fun, and I have a lot of time and respect for the series. Now, I am very interested to see what is going on in the third game, because at a very high level overview of the story, in the first one, you're running from your home planet, which is destroyed because you develop hyperspace technology. Now, my personal favourite, which is the second, which is Cataclysm, has you as a ragtag mining crew who discovers this sentient alien thing called the Beast. And this thing is a bit like the Borg, and it takes over various ships and basically forms giant fleets and becomes a real problem. And you have to go from basically what was originally a mining vessel to upgrading it into this huge warship and like building massive armies. And it's a real underdog story. And even to this day, talking about it now, it gives me tingles down the back of my neck. And then we have Homeworld 2, and it's about getting kicked out and exiled once again. And you have to go onto a journey to basically discover something about the cause that you originally found in the first. Now, the next title is The Deserts of Karak, and it's basically the prequel about you discovering the cause on your planet, which eventually leads you to creating the hyperspace technology that allows you to leave your planet. And while I enjoyed the game, I don't think it was ever well received as the first 3. So that leads us on to now Homeworld 3. Now, I have all sorts of theories around what the story could be for Homeworld 3. I haven't actually had a look at the Reddit, so I'm just going to spitball what my ideas on it are, but just want to talk about the trailer for a little bit. They look like they've upgraded the engine, the battles look a lot bigger. I'm hoping with more tech now that we get to have even bigger fights, because that's what Homeworld is all about at its core. In the trailer you can already see a lot of the smaller ships, which are the fighter classes. It also shows some of the corvettes, and there are also various frigates that it showed, and I think there was a couple of missile frigates for example, and there's also the destroyers, the battle cruiser class as well, which you can see just briefly in one of the clips as well. Now, in the trailer, you can see them fighting around these massive ship graveyards. Also, there seems to be planetary fighting as well. So maybe there's going to be some kind of like low atmosphere missions, for example. But with the huge scale of things and also the hypergates being used, I have a real theory that there's going to be more action around the progenitors again. And the progenitors were basically the ancient race that built the hyperstones, which, you know, initially caused the whole story to kick off. In number 2, you get access to a progenitor ship at the end of the game, which is absolutely awesome and has tons of laser beams and cannons, and also opens up all of the hyperspace network. So it could be the fact that you discover another big bad that basically wiped out the progenitors, or you have to face off against the progenitors, or there's some sort of faction that's raised up and you've got to fight them. But interestingly enough, it does mention that it isn't too far forward from the events of Homeworld 2. It mentions the Sisters of Valcora, who were a race that were living in the nebula, and you come across them in various missions. Interestingly enough, also, it doesn't mention the Bentusi yet, who were kind of like this impartial trading race that you come across and you get bits and pieces and upgrades from them in the story. Either way, they've given me enough to kind of whet my appetite, and they've really captured the magic of the previous Halos, I think, in this trailer. It doesn't showcase anything new so far. Everything from the trailer I recognize from the previous games, but I'm sure they have put in new things, and I'm really excited to see what they have done. I'm probably going to be doing more videos on this because this is such a personal game. Let's say I spent a lot of time with my childhood playing this, and I'm really excited to see another one in the series. Either way, let me know what you think of this. Are you excited for Homeworld 3? Are you worried? Are you new to this series? Is this not your kind of thing? I'd really love to hear it in the comments. But either way, have a great week everyone, enjoy your day, and I'll be back with more news soon.